been a few months since we did one of these. The last time we were in here, we were doing Caught in the Middle, and man, I'm so excited. As of Friday, Almost Happy is going to be the first single of 2026. I'm finally feeling like in my creative journey, I'm getting to a spot where like I'm making stuff that I'm really proud of and I'm really ready to share. And it's also been the first time that I've kind of started finding an audience a little bit. Thank God for TikTok, and seeing the interest that you guys have in this whole thing has been a game changer for me. I'm so fascinated by all the people that I get to meet on a day-to-day basis, and it's kind of encouraged me to want to make some more tutorials and share a little insight into this. I look a little grimy, a little sweaty. I just got off of like a pretty wild work day, but this song comes out in a couple of days, so I want to actually be able to share a little bit of the insight for those of you who are getting into your music production journey and don't really know where to start. Once again, I started doing this whole thing back in like 2012, 2013, and it's now 2026. When I was starting to learn music production, a lot of it was like the wild, wild west. I didn't really know where to begin, and there's a lot of bad advice out there, and I'm not gonna try to say that like my advice is gonna be the best advice, but I can speak very true to like my process and what I've kind of learned over the last few years, and just give a little bit of insight to those of you who want to create music that sounds kind of like this. Unfortunately, I can't get into the like exact project file right now, so I'm gonna have to do a bit of a stem breakdown from this, which isn't my normal cup of tea. If you watched any of the past YouTube tutorials, you know normally I break into the project files completely. That said, if you guys want to get into the more sound designy, more technical portions of all this stuff, I'd be more than happy to track that file down and make like a part 2 kind of thing. When we started writing this song, it was definitely different than the beast that it's kind of grown out to be. It was kind of written in like a interlude style, right? It was going to be a part of a larger project, and I remember hearing it and just falling in love with the actual song itself, and kind of taking the creative liberty to turn it into more of an electronic indie song as opposed to this like spacey kind of jammy song. For context, this is kind of where the arrangement started. This song, Almost Happy, like really began with this granular chop. I've had this sample now for a couple of years, and I've just been in love with it. With a little low pass filter on it too, like allowing it kind of open up, really created this like super emotionally charged sound that I just fell in love with instantly. If we start with just the soft piano itself, this is utilizing Addictive Keys by XLN Audio, one of my favorite plugins to date, and that's a little bit of distortion underneath it too that's helping add a little bit of movement. If we pair that with that granular chop from before, it starts feeling like we're in a movie or something. That granular chop in the back is really starting to carry significantly more weight. Next, I found this little drone piece, just like another little ear candy bit, along with a little piano pluck. If you put together all 5 of those elements, like the granular chop, the drone, both the pianos, and the little ear candy piece, you then get this moving kind of cinematic sound. It's unbelievable. I will say, when I started my music production journey, I put 2 layers on everything, man. Like, arguably overkilled it. Took a really long time to realize that, like, the most powerful arrangements and the most significant stuff I create and I produce and the stuff I love the most is actually unbelievably simple. So I started with this little group from Decap, and then I found this Oliver loop. And then we're going to fly back that granular chop from before. We had actually used this in the verse, but the syncopation of it. All right, and let's take a look at the main bass. 2 different presets that I had found on Serum and Massive. The benefit of doing that was, you know, to be able to group them together, and then I was able to run Isotope Trash onto it. You can kind of hear it as I'm playing it like this, like it's being clipped to the max. I definitely had to limit it a lot, and I lose like a little bit of fidelity from that, but like it's not supposed to sound high fidelity and beautiful. That's not really what we're going for. Like, but if we layer that back with the drums that we had programmed before, it's gorgeous. In essence, that's how the entire drop goes. Like, there is not anything more to it than that. So this is actually just that Oliver loop beforehand. I think I ran this through Fruity Love filter at the time or something. If we put back in the piano, along with a few of the other elements we had before, like the granular chop, that little drone piece that we had before, we're still so similar to what we had in that first verse, but now it's just got a little bit more weight, a little more texture, and it's moving a bit more. The second drop is the same exact thing as the first. God, I just cannot describe the way that makes me feel. By the somewhere into the second half of the drop at the very end. The only thing that's changed is I've added back in that little plug from Splice that we were using before. We're also pulling back in those piano plugs. It's synth, it's drums, and vocals. That's the entire arrangement of the whole song, man. It's amazing to work on a project that's 120 tracks and then look back at something like this that is literally 30. I will say a big part of the workflow on this song was building a lot of elements and then being very specific about what all wasn't going to make the cut. Like if anything felt too distracting from the actual original arrangement and didn't feel like it was adding value to it, you gotta nix it, you gotta take care of it, because if you really want to go for this super spacious sound, more is going to come from deleting than creating, I will say. It's a lesson I'm still learning every day, man. Like I will still find myself overcomplicating things and then listening back to other versions and realizing, oh, I didn't need that in there to begin with. You know, it's just taken away from it. But in essence, that's almost happy. Actually, for those of you who made it to the end of the video here, I'll let you know the next release is going to be All in My. Everybody else seems to call it All in My Head. So once again, if you're new here, my name is Aley. I make EDM for introverts. I make really chill electronic music. I don't make festival rave music. I don't make techno. I like to make really indie electronic stuff. And if you love this stuff, man, share it, please. And I've got so much cool stuff coming down the pipeline for this year. I can't wait to show it to you guys because some of it is so cool, and it's some of my favorite stuff that I've ever made. Plenty of Sleepless Nights have lended itself to some really amazing stuff, and I'm really excited to finally get to share some of it with you guys this year. So follow along on that journey and shoot me a message, get connected. If you ever have any questions about production, any of that stuff, I love to talk game and anything audio, anything video. Don't be a stranger. I'm just so grateful that people are loving this stuff as much as I do, and that we're finding a community for people who like this kind of music. This stuff has just always resonated with me differently than any other type of music, so it's really cool to find other people that feel that same way. All right, my camera's about to die, so I'm gonna wrap it up here, but All in My, whatever the next song is called, is coming very shortly. That's a wrap. I'll catch you cats later. Peace.